Welcome to a little bit of lab rat fun networking with fish. In the past CyberFlood video, what we had what you see in front of you right now with the Nexus 9K acting as the layer 3 box in the middle with the traffic going through it. What we're going to go ahead and do today is pretty much keep everything else the exact same, but we're going to change what type of device that layer 3 device is in the middle. We're actually going to go ahead and make it a Cisco next generation firewall, a Firepower 4120 to be exact. So the CyberFlood virtual client side is already have static routes that it's supposed to go, if it wants to go to the server, it goes to 10.11.01. That used to be the Nexus 9K. That's now going to be the next generation firewall on the inside. The CyberFlood virtual over on the server side has static routes that if it wants to go to the client, it goes to 10.21.01. That used to be the Nexus 9K. That will now be the outside of the next generation firewall. Now, you pretty much have all of this loaded in your mind, the 10.101, 10.201, and how this kind of sort of goes if you've watched the other videos. So let's get a little bit tighter so we can have a little bit more space and go to our from now on future topology diagram. So we still have the clients 10.101, we still have the servers 10.201, we still have the subnets 10.11 and 10.21, buffering those two, connecting to the layer 3 device in the middle. Clients will be the inside, servers will be on the outside, and the next generation firewall will take over the layer 3 IP addresses that the CyberFlood virtuals were pointing to. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to review what I have already configured as the Firepower 4120 interfaces. So I've already configured 10.11.01 as the inside. I've already configured 10.21.01 as the outside on those two interfaces. So Ethernet 3 in the middle, on the client side, Ethernet 4 on the other side. From there, we're going to go ahead and configure static routes on the 4120, just like the Nexus 9K layer 3 router had in the middle. Then we're going to go ahead and send traffic from CyberFlood and then verify traffic on the Firepower. So let's go ahead and start. So let's go ahead and go over into the Firepower. So here's the Firepower. Now, the diagram that I have that says that we have one Firepower 4120. As you can see, we technically have two Firepower 4120s, and they're actually in high availability mode. For now, from a simplicity perspective, let's just go ahead and just focus on it as just being one. I added the other one for future videos because a lot more is coming. So we're just going to go ahead and go into the primary active. So please try to go ahead and just have it just be one in your mind. And we're supposed to review interfaces. So if we go over here, we click on the HA pair and we look at the interfaces. What we have is Ethernet 3, Ethernet 1.3 is on the inside. And it's 10.11.01, again, the IP address that the Nexus 9K used to be. Ethernet 1.4 is on the outside, 10.21.01, again, what the Nexus 9K used to be. Now, the next thing we're supposed to do is configure static routing. So let's go ahead and go to routing. Now, while the firewall can do a whole bunch of other types of routing, what I want to do is only move one step from where we were before. And so we're going to go ahead, and the Nexus 9K was configured statically. We're going to go ahead and configure statically. So let's go ahead and add the static routes. Now, when I was first new to the next generation firewall, I was coming from a world of IP route, IP address, subnet mask, next hop. So when I came over into the next generation firewall world, I'm like, okay, add static route configuration, IPv4, got it, inside. And then I looked here. So it was like available network. So I kind of sort of figured out really quickly, especially if you hover over the plus button, that you're supposed to add an object. So I'm like, okay, I get this. I'm going to add an object. So I'm going to have an object, so client hosts inside, and that object is going to be a network. So 10.101.0.0/16. So it's just an object. So instead of saying IP route inside, 10.101.0.1/16, and then the next hop, I made an object called client hosts inside. What I like about that is that I can fat finger things. If you've ever watched any of my videos, I can definitely fat finger things. And so I can make an object one time and then just refer to that object. So it's kind of sort of really helped me with making less mistakes. So I basically have inside, and then I added an object, but it's gone in and I have to search for it now. Now you notice that if I do a search in lowercase, this is not case sensitive, it still found it. So I'm basically saying add static route IPv4 inside. So 10.101.0.0/16. I'm going to go ahead and add that. And add that. And then what I did, new to this, was I said 10.11.0.3 and I hit OK. So I had this, if you want to get to the client host inside as an object, inside global 10.11.0.3. And someone came along and they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, making static routes. And what they showed me was just like I can make an object on the subnet 10.101, I can also make an object of the default gateway to have this IP address make more sense. So let's go ahead and now add the outside one and do it from the perspective of also having objects. So let's say server hosts outside. Now, as you see, I can also put descriptions on here, but that's not what this video is about. So let's go ahead and keep it nice and tight. So then I could do server and find it, add. So static route IPv4 outside. If you want to go to 10.201, you can also go ahead and hover over here and it'll go ahead and 10.201. Now, instead of having an actual IP address, what I can do is I can have it be server VR. So I can use the server-side VR, which we know is a host, and that is 10.21.0.3. So what I've actually done is I've created an object because the object wasn't there. I also could have gone ahead and just searched for the object. So now we have two static routes. We have the one to the outside, to the inside that has an IP address, and the one to the outside that's actually using a gateway. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and save, I'm going to deploy, and then we're going to go ahead and go over to the CyberFlood and we're going to run this test. So we've saved, we've deployed it out to the firewall, and I'm actually over here on the overview summary dashboard. I'm the only one who has the 4120s checked out. I'm not sending any traffic right now, haven't been sending any traffic, so it's pretty much empty, as you can see. Let's go ahead and start the traffic. So if we go back over to the CyberFlood, we have CyberFlood Fun with the next generation firewall. It is the same client, it is the same servers, it is the same VRs. The device under test is the CyberFlood doesn't know that the device under test has changed. We still have the applications and stuff like that. Got it going for 6.5 minutes. So let's just go ahead and just kick it off. Now again, it's a layer 4 through 7 traffic generation, so it's going to go ahead and push this, and then we'll come back and look at it, and then we'll go over to the firewall once it's done and see what we see over in the firewall. So we're at 99% and we're pretty much done. We got our nice big green happiness right here. And so we kept that open for quite a while, and I'll just not wait for the 100%. So let's just go ahead and come over here and refresh this. And so this is the summary dashboard again. We saw that there was nothing on it before. Now we have SMTP, BitTorrent, POP3, yada, yada, yada. If we come down here, we have web browser and everything. So this is pretty much all I wanted to do. What have we done? We went ahead and we put the next generation firewall in. We had that take over the IP addresses that the Nexus 9K was using, that the CyberFlood virtuals were pointing to from a static perspective, put static routing in ourselves in the next generation firewall. Same static routes, just obviously in a different format than the Nexus 9K. Sent traffic from the CyberFlood. The traffic generators don't even care what is in the middle. It's just this cloud, just like users. I'm here and then I go to the internet and I don't need to know everything that's happening along the way. So same thing. Then we went ahead and we verified the traffic on the firepower. So that's pretty much it for this one. Now, tons more coming. As you saw from a spoiler alert, I have another next generation firewall. But first, what I want to do next is show you a very cool thing with the CyberFlood, And that is that I can actually go in there, and you saw me send application mixes, but you also saw over there that there was something called a security thing. So let's go ahead and just take a quick look at what I'm talking about. So if we come back over here to the test, so let's go ahead and we close this, and if we close that, it'll bring us back to the test. CyberFlood fun with. So we have down here the traffic mix we were doing, but you also see the tab behind here, which is security mix. So I could actually send a security mix of traffic at the same time that I'm sending regular traffic. And what that's going to do is that's going to go ahead and we're going to be sending CVE, so vulnerability events, and seeing the next generation firewall block it and the CyberFlood showing that it was blocked. So that's about it. See you next time. Hope you're having a great fun getting into the weeds. We're going to be getting into the weeds a lot more, and also doing a lot of looking at PCAPs and also looking at TCP and Wireshark. And I hope you're geeking out as much as I am. Have a great day. See ya. I'm out.